I started.
This one is, this is actually his 12 shapes. He just kind of put all his together, and then he put his different Zentangle in each one of those shapes. And then after you do that, I asked him to come up with an overall design. And this is the design. You can see he did sort of a quilt design sort of thing. And then he put a different Zentangle in each one of these shapes. And it's looking pretty cool. Can you guys agree? We can do cool things with line. So I told him to stop because he's done enough work. It's time for him to move on to the final drawing. So the final drawing is going to be on a slightly smaller paper because we're going to be using ink on this, all right? So to get ready for your smaller paper, we always like to do a border around what we're doing. So to create a border, you're going to get this paper from me when I say that you're ready with your Zentangle, and you're going to measure 1/4 all the way around your paper. So you're gonna mark off, and here's what I do. Where 1/4 is, can you hand me those glasses, please? Thank you. Remember, there's 4 marks. There's 4 big marks in an inch. Each one of those big marks is a 1/4 inch. In between those 1/4 marks is 1/8 of an inch, but we're only using the 1/4 of an inch mark. So it's the first big notch. So I'm just gonna go through and mark a 1/4 inch on every edge of my paper. We don't like to draw all the way to the edge of the paper because the edge of your paper gets damaged, right? And so we're creating this border so the edge of your drawing doesn't get damaged. And also then if I go to mat it for display, then I have a place where I can mat it. I have some leeway there. So I'm marking two parts, and I'm using what's called a carpenter's mark. And a carpenter's mark is an arrow that points to the measurement. Carpenter's marks are obviously used in building. We just put up blinds the other day, and I used a carpenter mark to mark off the 1.5 inches where you needed it. Because when you make a line, lines can get crooked. If you have a point that you want to do, if you do an arrow to it, then it's more precise, and that's why it's called a carpenter's mark. Let me see where I'm at. Okay, so once I get a 1/4 inch and I'm doing it really lightly, I'm going to connect those carpenter's marks, and I don't need to use a heavy line. I can go pretty lightly. So I want to hold my pencil pretty lightly. I don't want to hold it like I'm doing math. I want to hold it very lightly like I'm drawing. So once I get this all sectioned off and I have a nice border all the way around, then I'm ready to start drawing my Zentangle. Now your Zentangles are going to be larger than this paper. So you'll have to figure out how you're going to do it. Are you going to make everything smaller, or do you want to cut something out? So you decide. Nathaniel's is pretty, this is pretty intricate. Some people, like a young lady showed me hers this morning that was beautiful. It was a heart, which that's fine too. If you do it, I didn't tell you what you had to do. I told you could use any shape and put all 12 of your Zentangles in it. So once you have the border all done, now here is one solution for Nathaniel's is he could take some of it off and do that much of it. Or he can do the whole thing because they're kind of in proportion, just a little slimmer, and just make it a little bit smaller. So he's just going to decide what he wants to do. But once you have that paper, then you're going to start drawing your Zentangle onto the paper. And you're going to draw this design on, get it all drawn on, go through with a pencil, and you're going to add all of your Zentangle marks. And then once you have them all marked, I'm going to give you a Sharpie, and you're going to go over them with a Sharpie. All right? And then once the Sharpie's completely dry, we're gonna erase all your pencil marks. One thing that I want you to figure out, do you mind if I make marks on this one a little bit? Okay, so can I see, I have a light pencil. Do you have a dark pencil? Maybe? Okay, so his design is great. He needs some places that stick out more. So you got to kind of figure out when you use the Sharpie, what you want to have more contrast, what you want to be darker and lighter or whatever. So maybe he even just goes in. Maybe he just goes in some places and creates some contrast to make things pop out. Like maybe in the negative space of all of these circles. Maybe he wants the circles to pop out more. And it doesn't matter to me how you do it. Whatever you want to pop out, that's what you want to pop out. But can you already see the couple places where I started making more contrast and start making things pop? Okay. So your task is to get your idea for your Zentangle, and then when you're ready, start. Thank you, Masai. When you're ready, start. In addition to that, you're still working on your surrealism hands. Okay. So when I give a demonstration, I request that you respect the time that I'm giving. I'm showing you how to do something. I want you all to pay attention, and I want you all to ask questions if you have them. Here's the caveat to that. If I give a demonstration and you do not watch it, you're doing something else. Guess who doesn't answer questions to people who didn't watch it? Okay? If you watch the presentation and you don't understand, I will sit there all day and you can ask me questions and I will help you. If you did not watch the demonstration, you ask me questions. Questions now?
No.
You know what that meant when he said no? He goes, it meant, you can quit talking now. Okay. All right, you guys.